Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. News is popping off all across the state after St. Louis Mayor Tishaura Jones again flaunted our state constitution and state law, announcing a massive city-based gun control proposal for St. Louis. We have on the show today State Senator Bill Eigel. Bill's been leading the fight in the Senate for the Second Amendment for quite some time. Bill, this lady, that's me being generous, she seems to believe that the rules don't apply to her at all. What are your thoughts on her proposal from yesterday?
Well, I tell you what, Aaron, this is another bad idea coming out of the city of St. Louis. And I hate to say this, but we've gotten way too used to hearing these kind of bad ideas from the city of St. Louis that are intended to fix problems, but couldn't be more off base. You know, Tishaura Jones said in her press conference yesterday that she's going to fight like hell against the legislators who are trying to stop her from infringing on the Second Amendment rights of Missourians. I got to say, I wish she would. I'm wondering, is she going to fight like hell to actually put criminals in jail down in the city of St. Louis? Because that's what they need. Is she going to fight like hell to support the police departments instead of defunding the police departments down in the city of St. Louis? Well, according to her track record, according to what she said yesterday, the answer to those questions are no, because she's going to skip straight to gun grabbing.
Exactly.
That's what this was about yesterday. She's looking for any excuse that she could create under a local ordinance to grab guns from law-abiding citizens. And this is illegal. It's illegal under our Constitution. It's illegal under our state code. We're not going to stand for this.
Yeah, I'm going to break that down here in a minute. Her proposal specifically would ban AR-15s, the most popular rifle in Missouri and in America. It would ban homemade firearms, which are very popular across Missouri. I love this one. It would ban people with an insurrection conviction from possessing firearms. I have to laugh because were they out there trying to make sure folks who rioted, burned, and shot their way across St. Louis in the mostly peaceful protests a couple years ago, are they on the list? I mean, of course not. It's a nonstop list of gun control. She talked about wanting to get red flag laws. She did not put that in here, but this is obviously designed to simply placate her base. And the irony, I think, here, Senator, is that this is the same mayor who was texting her own dad a couple weeks ago saying that she knows gun control doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that in private, she's right. Gun control doesn't work. And the fact that she was willing to admit that in private text messages that got released to the media in St. Louis, but then she comes out and in front of all the cameras yesterday says that in spite of the fact that she knows it doesn't work, she's going to propose that as some sort of solution for the people of St. Louis, tells you that she's just another hypocritical politician that is interested in nothing more than the power trip of being able to tell citizens what to do. And in this case, she's going to take away what the Second Amendment is guaranteeing, what it's actually the Second Amendment is articulating. You already have the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment is articulating that right. And Tishaura Jones and all of her liberal friends in St. Louis want to take that away from us. One of the biggest messages that I heard from constituents in campaign season is they're looking for protectors of these rights, not folks that are going to go in there and steal more rights. And it makes it even worse. It strengthens the argument that too many politicians are completely out of touch, that'll say anything in front of the camera to get elected. And Tishaura Jones is proving nothing more than she is just more of the same from the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, we seem to have a runaway problem across the state, but also across the country now of these politicians who know they're speaking crap out of their mouth. They know what they're saying is a lie. They literally do not care, no matter how many people get harmed by their proposals. In this case, we all know that no criminal in St. Louis is going to abide by this. It'd only be used to attack unsuspecting, law-abiding gun owners, and they know it. They know it. They simply don't care. You mentioned the Constitution. I want to read just a small section of this for those who don't know. The Missouri State Constitution is actually far more protective even than our own Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. It's a very well-written document. I'm just going to read a portion of it. But it says that the right of the citizens to keep and bear arms, ammunition, and accessories, I'm skipping through here now, shall not be questioned. The rights guaranteed in this section shall be unalienable, and any restriction of these rights will be open to strict scrutiny, and the state of Missouri shall be obligated to uphold these rights and to protect them against people like Tishaura Jones. I mean, our own documents are very clear.
And Tishaura Jones couldn't care less about the Constitution. She couldn't care less about the laws that we're passing in Jefferson City. And that's why, let's take a look at the city of St. Louis for a second. The reality is St. Louis City is a mess. It's never been more than a mess than it is right now. And it's because they've had a line of Democrat politicians going back to World War II that have done nothing in that city but grow government to the point to where it's trampling the rights of the citizens. So again, I'm not surprised that she came out with this pronouncement yesterday. I'm not surprised. Of course, that's what Tishaura Jones, that's what Joe Biden, that's what Merrick Garland, they're all coming from the same place, that they want to infringe on the rights of citizens. What we need are strong leaders in this state that are going to have the backbone to stand up wherever and whenever is required to tell them no. So you just read out I tell you what, she needs a recording of this interview, because she's probably never even heard of the word that you just mentioned, much less the intent behind them. So I've
got one more section for Tishaura to read. That's our current state preemption law. The preemption law is even more clear than the Constitution. It's 21.750, and it says no city, town, county, village, it goes on and on and on, shall adopt any order, ordinance, or regulation that would in any way impact the sale, purchase, transfer, ownership, use, possession, or bearing of any firearm, components, or ammunition here in Missouri. Like, it is abundantly clear in the Constitution and the state law that what she's doing is unconstitutional. And as you said, her only reaction is, I know that I'm going to fight like hell against state law and against the state constitution.
Yeah, there's a but here, though. There's a but here, and I'm very familiar with that preemption standard. And the but is, though, that there's no teeth behind that law. There's no teeth. There's no penalties that are actually written into that preemption law that will actually specify what's going to happen to Tishaura Jones or the city of St. Louis if they don't follow that law. So here's what I'm letting you. I have not told anybody else this so far, Aaron, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell all your listeners. I am drafting legislation right now that's going to add both criminal and civil penalties for anybody that violates that preemption law. We're going to start protecting the Second Amendment around here. I don't care if you have liberals in St. Louis City or the liberals over in Kansas City, by the way, because a lot of times they're just as bad. We're not going to tolerate the flouting of state law and the protections that are in our Constitution. We need both of those things, by the way. Criminal penalties for public officials that want to infringe on the rights of citizens. I mean, have we not learned anything from the COVID environment about how dangerous that can be? And secondly, civil penalties. I tell you what, Aaron, you know where we've used civil penalties before on precisely this issue. We did it on the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Look how well that has worked, because we haven't had very many issues with the federal government coming into the state of Missouri and getting the coordination from state agencies. We can apply that here and protect and make sure that the people in St. Louis City have the same protection of their rights as every other person in this state.
Well, I love hearing that. I love hearing, first of all, teeth. I love hearing a combination of criminal and civil. For those who don't know, what that means is that she could be criminally charged by AG Andrew Bailey, but even better in some ways is that individual gun owners in St. Louis could sue that department in civil court for fiscal damages. And what that does is it takes the government out of the entire thing. The individual gun owner whose rights are impacted could just on your own drag them in a civil court for damages. That's the way we did it with SEPA. And you're right. I mean, this day and age, we have tyrants from the White House to the county courthouse and everywhere in between trying to just grind their thumb down on the American people, both in Missouri and across the country. Never been more important to have actual teeth to our laws. I know that a lot of us, I think, speaking for myself, you would have thought that when we passed these laws, there was the assumption that they'd be obeyed. And so there's some laws that there was not always teeth applied to them. Obviously, that needs to be fixed. And you're saying right here, you're going to do that with a new bill in Jeff City next session.
Well, and we're not only going to do, one of the things that's most frustrating, and I think Tishaura Jones was trying to mention this yesterday in her press conference, is that this idea of local control. And I think we should be real clear about this. The state is ultimately responsible for the protection of rights within the borders of the state of Missouri. We empower local governments to protect the rights of citizens at a local, more efficient level. But if that local jurisdiction fails or refuses to protect the rights of its citizens, it is absolutely the role of the government in Jefferson City to step in and protect the rights of those people. And so whether it's St. Louis City, if the tyranny is on a different issue in St. Louis County or it's in Kansas City, We need strong leaders in Jefferson City that are going to be willing to take the slings and arrows that are going to come our way. Because you know what they're going to say about me the moment I come out and say, we're going to have a firm stance against the city of St. Louis misbehaving. All those slings and arrows, I don't care. We're going to protect rights around here, and we're going to be bold about it.
Well, the thing is that we have to deal with this right now in St. Louis. If we don't, we're going to wake up a couple months from now, and we're going to have dozens of cities and counties in our bluer areas across the state who are adopting the exact same policies that any Missourian who's happened to have the misfortune of traveling through one of these localities on their day-to-day lives could be pulled over, and under these proposals, could be arrested and criminally charged because they broke a city statute. That's why we've always had a clear preemption law, which, for those who might not know what that means, is designed to preempt the entire issue of the Second Amendment and take it away from from city control and make it a uniform statewide issue so that Missourians way up north and way down south know we have a uniform standard of law to abide by. Without that, with this kind of patchwork quilt, it'd be every city for themselves, and gun owners would have no idea what the law is one city over.
Yeah. In fact, let's talk about some of those population centers. I mean, we talk about the city of St. Louis. Missouri is a state of 6 million people. St. Louis is 300,000. St. Louis County, which has another tyrant in charge of it, which is County Executive Sam Page, there's 1 million people in St. Louis County. Then you can look at the blue areas over in Kansas City. Jackson County is another 1 million people. So just between those three blue areas, Jackson County and Kansas City over on the west side, St. Louis County and St. Louis City, you have more than a third of the entire state's population. By the time you add in Columbia, which is a very blue area of the state as well, and a few other areas, you have half the population of the state that may find themselves under the thumb of some local Democrat liberal gun grabber and not having the protection they need. That's why it's not good enough for us to say in Jefferson City that we're not going to engage when this kind of silliness and craziness goes on in the city of St. Louis. We're going to be engaged. Yes. Absolutely, we're going to protect those rights.
It kind of made me laugh hearing Tyrant Jones talk about the need for red flag laws. Of course, you're the lead sponsor for our organization on SB 10 from this past session, which the goal is to ban red flag laws altogether here in Missouri, because we know that once you open the door on that and you allow individual people to make these complaints by phone, attacking their an ex-spouse from 15 years ago or 15 minutes ago, and once you open that door into allowing liberal judges to simply order the confiscation of your firearms, we're going to have massive numbers of Missourians disarmed who've never set foot in a court of law at all.
Yeah. So, Aaron, I got to give credit to your organization, because let's talk about Senate Bill 10 and what happened there. Part of the education that you're doing, and you did this when Senate Bill 10 was voted down in committee. You remember that dark day.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't fail because of the Democrats.
No.
It failed because of Republicans who, I guarantee you, never said to their constituents in campaign season they were going to vote against protections for our Second Amendment rights. It was Republicans that did that. That's why the absolute void of leadership that we're seeing out of Jefferson City, and I say that as a general and total statement, is having an impact all over the state. It's not just Democrats that are refusing to protect your rights. It's soft Republicans as well. So whether it's Senate Bill 10 or it's adding criminal and civil protections to the preemption law in this state, this is a big deal, and we need to be engaged. And you're helping to get that word out, and I'm very thankful for it.
Well, we enjoy that. I mean, we all know here we have the kind of same motivations we all do. This is about, and some people say, well, I already have all the guns I need. Well, I mean, frankly, my wife always tells me I do too. But the point here is always about our grandkids. And, we are in a very dangerous times right now in Missouri, but across the country right now, where a growing number of these red states are being led by people who do not seem to understand the times in which we live. And if we're not very careful, we're going to see happen here in Missouri what happened just across the river just a couple months ago, where Illinois banned all of these identical firearms. We have got to stay on guard. And we're very happy to have you, of course, sponsoring SB 10. And we cannot wait to see this new bill to put actual teeth in preemption law. So as always, thank you very much, Senator, for your work on this. Folks, we'll have more information coming out in the near future, action links you guys can take to encourage your state senator to get involved in this fight as well. It is no longer enough for your state senator, your state rep to vote pro-gun. If they will not lead in the fight for gun rights, they need to be challenged in that laziness. We'll have more information in the near future. Thank you again, Bill. As always, we appreciate your time.
Always a pleasure, Aaron. We'll talk again soon.
Take care.